Some cars are nice, some cars are fast or quick, some cars are luxurious and wonderful. Very few cars are beautiful inside and out and more comfortable and a faster travel choice than commercial air travel. This, thankfully, is one of those cars because this is the all-new 2025 Bentley Continental GT. Looks-wise, first, you can tell it's a Continental GT. Yes, there's been some nips and some tucks and some alterations, but it is still clearly recognizable as the vehicle that it is, and that's a good thing because it's always been a pretty darn good-looking car. I don't know where I stand on the headlights just yet. They've ditched the quad headlights for this like more dramatic-looking headlight shape with a daytime running light eyebrow. You can still get the quads on the Bentayga and the Flying Spur. The Continental, though, is punching a bit more modern. And I always liked the quad headlights, but over time it felt like these outboard headlights were getting smaller and smaller and doing this weird like insectoid look to it. So I started to like them less and less. So I think this might be a better direction. Out back, the taillights look nicely tucked into the almost boat tail effect with the little ducktail spoiler. And then those rear hips, they are just designed and sculpted beautifully. The rear haunches of this car remain fantastic, maybe better than ever. I don't love the black wheels. I like the design of the wheels, but when you do a wheel like that, a gorgeous multi-spoke wheel, you go to your wheel designer, wow, good job. We're gonna paint it black because fuck you. They just get lost in the fenders. This would look much better with a different color wheel, though. Like I said, the design is nice. This blue paint is also gorgeous. I don't know if I'd spec the blue outside with the red cow guts interior. Now, I do think this is neat and fun, and it looks really nice, and it's very comfortable, and I like that you can just do this to a Bentley. I would spec it differently, but it's pretty badass at the same time. I mean, maybe you're a huge Superman fan with the blue and the red. The materials are nice though, and again, I've never been a big leather guy. I'm not a big leather daddy. So this material on the seats is very nice and comfortable. It's like a suede type material. I'll look it up in a second. I have a price list over there. But it makes you feel like the heated seats are on when they're not. It's almost like corduroy. It's like sitting in a corduroy seat. Super comfortable. I wonder if there's a slightly lighter material that's not leather that we could do here. Otherwise, fantastic. This has the optional name audio system, all that good stuff. Now, the big news, though, for 25 is the powertrain change. No more W12 available. This is a plug-in hybrid, and I think this is a change for the better. For these cars that are already heavy and already have lots of heft going on with them, it's not like you're like, oh man, they made the Continental GT such a pig now. Like, it's always been a heavy car. It is still heavy, but now it is heavy with 771 horsepower, and I think it's like 783 or 743 pound-feet of torque, whatever the number is. It's gargantuan. It achieves that by using a 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8, an electric motor in between the engine and the 8-speed gearbox, and then about a 25.9 kilowatt-hour battery pack. So there is extremely usable EV range and tremendous power. Kind of the best of both worlds on something like this. I read somewhere that it's supposed to be able to handle up to 99 miles per hour in EV mode, but when I've been driving it, it gets up to 87 and holds there, which is, again, plenty. You're breaking the speed limit, but here in California, that's kind of like cruising speed on the 5. But it works perfectly. It's super comfortable, and then I can leave it in Bentley mode, and it'll vacillate between the two modes as necessary, or if I put it in sport, it'll hold the battery level or refill the battery while I'm driving, and the transmission is more aggressive, and you get the great engine note. This is essentially the powertrain in the hopped up version of the Panamera, the Porsche Panamera. The Porsche doesn't sound as good as this car. Bentley does some magic with the plumbing, and it sounds fantastic. It sounds like a Bentley, which is important, I would assume, to Bentley owners. But having the ability to plug this in if you want to, or just running the gas engine and building the juice back up, which I've also been doing, because it's actually surprisingly efficient at getting energy back into that battery pack when you're in sport mode. I drove this from my house in Orange County down to San Diego for a few days and then came back up. On the way down, I left it in Bentley mode and used, 20 or 30 miles of EV range, then popped it into sport. And by the time I got down there, I had like half the battery back. But I was enjoying sport mode by that point, so it didn't matter. It is still a Grand Tourer, but because we have less weight on the nose, it's a heavy car, but the weight is better distributed throughout the vehicle. So less weight on the nose is a very good thing for making a car turn in. It's less want to push and understeer and scrub those tires. Now, this is not a Porsche, but it is a very dynamically entertaining Grand Tourer. And Bentleys are always the grandest of tours. Like, yeah, Rolls Royces are Rolls Royces. These are more fun to drive than Rolls Royces.
What advantages does this motor car have over, say, a train? Which I could also afford.
And they get the same oohs and ahs from the crowd as they go by, as far as I'm concerned. You can make your case for the Rolls Royce stuff, but Bentleys are plenty fancy. The Cullinan is better than the Bentayga in the looks department for sure. But just in this two-door, if you are in this space to buy these things, this is a heck of a machine. It feels a touch above like something like the DB12, or I really would like to drive the new Vanquish to see what that's like. But those are always been a little bit more aggressive. The top flight Astons are always slightly more aggressive than the top flight Bentleys, but the Bentleys are always much nicer places to spend your time. And you're gonna pay for it. I think these start at $300. I could be wrong about that. This is a speed first edition, so maybe that's part of it. Let me grab this real quick. So, the starting price, standard price, $302 for a GT Speed first edition. This one, as tested, let me just wait so I have some clear road so I don't crash. $395. So we have so many options. Like just an insane amount of options. Oh my God. So the first edition launch spec is $51,000. I don't know what that entails. Let's see. Some Mulliner paint is $12,000. Carbon ceramic brakes, $18,000. The supremely cool self-leveling wheel badges, which I actually really do like, are $715. So that's a bargain compared to everything else as far as I'm concerned. Coming to a red light so I can take a better look at this. The black line spec, which is nice, so blacked out trim, is $4,700. So $51,000 of it is this first edition, which is a lot. But then $12,000 for paint, and almost $19,000 for the brakes. Okay. That's a lot for brakes. That is a lot. That is a big upcharge for brakes. That's crazy. The paint doesn't surprise me. Paint is expensive. And the price doesn't surprise me. I mean, $400 for a Continental GT is a shitload of money. But I think the powertrain maybe brings it. It doesn't matter anymore. Prices don't matter. What am I talking about? People just spend the money and buy these things because I don't know. I don't know where all these people have this money, but all these top tier brands are selling cars left and right still. It's if a Vantage costs as what it costs these days, like the Vantage I reviewed, then it makes sense for this Continental GT Speed first edition Mulliner blah 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 to be more. It does sound good. It does go like hell, and it is a nice place to spend a week. This is one of those, if you had to go somewhere and it'd be easier and cheaper to fly, though if you have this, you're flying private. If you had to fly commercial somewhere, let's say you had to make a run from Orange County to Vegas, that's a 45-minute flight, it's easy. The flip side is you have to deal with TSA, that's annoying, you have to park your car, you have to do all this stuff. If someone just handed me the keys to a Bentley, I know the choice I'm taking. I'm pointing the nose down the highway pumping tunes out of the name audio system and relaxing into this corduroy seat with the seat ventilation set to the lowest setting, so just a light bit of air moving over my back so I'm not sweating. This car is awesome. It remains awesome, and now getting some of that weight off the nose, having some usable EV range, and just tremendous 771 horsepower is amazing. 771 horsepower. What numbers? I mean, yes, you're dealing with the weight I mentioned, but good stuff.